Welcome back to Sayajin YouTube channel. Starfield has been in early access as of now for this week also, and the next week we are going to get the Starfield for everybody, and it is going to be commercial launch. But yeah, in the early access, the game looks pretty nice, and it usually doesn't have any jankiness. Like there's a stable frame rate overall. On PC, it's like 60, and on console at 30 frames per second, and on PC you can go as low as 30, but it's stable at 4K also. So there is no usual bugs where the frame rate drops or there's no hiccups in the game as such. So overall the game is pretty nice, but there are some caveats to it because the game, when it starts, it doesn't tells you what you need to do and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't takes you on a ride. It tells you just you need to do this and then you need to figure it out all on the scratch. But the game looks pretty nice. The game is challenging per se. But it's just action RPG, and everywhere else it looks pretty nice. It has a nice shooting mechanics and stuff. The skill tree is back, and the everything which the game Elder Scroll had previously, it's here. So you can make a stealth build, and the stealth build over here has gone pretty insane because if you do a stealth build in this game, it's pretty massive difference compared to every other game because it's like totally game breaking, I can say. Also the dialogues has its effects, and you also have console commands which you can input it by using the tilt key, and then the console menu comes out, and then there are various commands which you can put, and it works seamlessly in this game. But at the same time, if you input it, the achievements are locked, and also the game starts breaking up at the end and stuff. So yeah, the game also has that weird bugs from Star from various other Bethesda games, though it's based on Creation Engine 2, which is their second generation and highly modified creation engine. But the game bugs which were there for creation in first creation engine, it's here. So the character will float in the sky and everything else, which Bethesda knows for it, and we know they will fix it. But the usual thing which was there for Fallout 76, the usual first jankiness and every other thing which I had expected in the early access is not here. You can also access developer room, but the developer room is not that big. Don't know why, but yeah, the feedback for the guns are pretty nice. The story, it's like the side quests are pretty mediocre, but when you go on to your main quest, it's pretty nice. And also the skill tree is pretty big, so you will be sinking tons of hours into the skill tree because yeah, you can make it, remake it and stuff. It's like you have so many skills to unlock and stuff, so yeah, you will need waste time majority of the time, and everything is there from combat and stuff. Also, there's not a melee combat as such, but usual shooting and things looks pretty nice, and the game doesn't breaks. Like there's only one crash I think that happened, but after that there are no crashes as such. Also, there are space combat and stuff, so it looks pretty nice. And you can dock the ship, which the game doesn't tells you, but it's like you need to first destroy the enemy's engines and then you need to be fast so that you can dock it, or else their engine gets online and then you need to do it all over again. And the annoying thing which I didn't feel nice, because the thing is, when you go into a solar system and stuff, and if you want to explore a planet, then you choose a planet where to land and stuff, and then a cutscene plays, and you go down and you get landed, and then there's only an option to get out. According to me, I thought it's going to be similar like No Man's Sky, like you go inside, you find your landing spot, and you land your ship on your own. So yeah, there is that a hiccup which I felt, but overall the boost mechanics and everything else is there, looks pretty nice. And some of the gameplay, not the gameplay, but some of the planets which are procedurally generated looks pretty janky because they are barren as such, and yeah, there's nothing to do on such planets and stuff. So yeah, there is we- things which doesn't make sense for me, because after No Man's Sky I feel like there should be things to be doing on each and every planet. But yeah, according to the size of the game, it should be that they won't be able to, even if they procedurally generate those planets, they are not able to make them living as such, and that's to be expected. But yeah, usual things are there from Bethesda's game, which we know like the RPG mechanics and stuff. And yeah, the game is pretty nice. It's pretty stable in early access as such, and yeah, overall, it's a pretty solid game. If you want to experience a pretty nice, solid RPG from Bethesda, this is a game for you. And it's a new IP, and it feels pretty nice. The story is pretty good. The main quest is pretty compelling, but the side quest I didn't feel that much nice. But at the same time, the game is looks pretty nice. It doesn't bugs out. The character models are mediocre, I can say. They should have gone away into the character models as such, but they didn't do it. And our protagonist is not talkative. So yeah, as you can see on the screen here, this is the usual bugs where the characters are floating in space and the camera glitches out as such. As you can see, the camera glitches out when the NPC bumps into you, and in some scenario you get stuck in table and chair. So yeah, there's those usual bugs, but not game breaking. And yeah, the weapons also has its varieties as such, and the gameplay mechanics, everything which we know is there. So overall, the foundation is pretty nice. Maybe they will put a little bit of effort, and after few patches, the game will be stable. It's pretty stable at this point, but after few patches, I think the game will be pretty nice. Like they should add some new things into it, but the solid foundation is there. Maybe they will go with Starfield 2 and make it pretty big, because this game is pretty big. You can sink tons of hours into it, and this game is the first game where there's a new game plus. So yeah, they just reset your skill, not a skill tree, but the character companions and such. But everything else is there. So your skills are there. You can redo your missions and everything else, and chapter selection, everything gets unlocked. So yeah, and the shipbuilding in this game is pretty nice. It gets divided into components and stuff, but it's pretty easy to grasp what's going on in the ship, and shipbuilding is pretty essential. And the base building is packed, but base building is pretty, it's nice, but it's pretty, the game doesn't tell you what to do, so you need to figure it out on your own. But the shipbuilding, it's pretty nice. And the funny thing is, like when you build a ship, it gets reflected on the outside, so it looks pretty nice. And the interior also changes according to how you made the ship. So yeah, it looks pretty nice, and it's a pretty solid game. Starfield has done few things nice, and the majority of the thing is like the Fallout 76, there is no usual bugs, that game breaking bugs which Bethesda is known for. It's not there, which is a nice thing, which is a plus in my book. But overall, the game is pretty nice, and the game is, you should definitely buy the game. If you want it to be owned, just buy it. On Greenman Gaming, it's pretty heavily discounted at 17 bucks, 17% off. But yeah, you can also play it on Game Pass. But if you want to own the game, then you can absolutely own the game at 70 bucks or so if you don't want premium edition. But now it's not the point to get a premium edition. Just wait for a week and then get a standard edition, which is a pretty nice edition also. But yeah, that's it from me today. What do you think about the review for this game? Sound of your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will meet you in the next one. Peace out.